Okay, well, good morning. Welcome to math today on a nice little weather day. Hope you're enjoying the snow falling outside your window. We're starting a new concept. We're just spending this week on this concept of mass and really just a couple of days. And the whole idea about mass is how much something weighs, how heavy something is really a better description. So if it was in the classroom, if we were kind of normal times, this would be a great opportunity to just start comparing different things around the classroom and seeing what's heavier and trying to kind of guess and predict. And the way we would do that is using a pan balance. Well, you're at home, and I'm actually at home too because of the snow day. I don't even have a pan balance. So I did make my own pan balance using some simple items that you might find around your house. And I will show you me using it a little bit later in the video to answer some of our questions. And I will also post the video I watched to make my balance. Oopsies. And then if you want to make yours, it'll make math a little more enjoyable if you can do some creating today. For the first page of this activity, and that's what I'm going to focus this video on, you're going to do an experiment. That's fun. If you don't want to do an experiment, if you don't have the stuff at home or whatever reason, you can kind of follow along with my experiment and get your worksheet done based on what I do. So for today's activity, you're going to need 5 objects of different masses. Okay, so find 5 things around the house and then label them A through E. So I'm just going to do that on my page. I'm just going to make a little text box here and set that up for me. So object A for me is going to be this block. A little kid's block with letters on it, so it's going to be a block. Okay, object B for me is going to be this elephant toy. We all know elephants are super heavy, so they weigh tons. Elephant toy. For me, object C is going to be this well-chewed little dog toy ball, so it's a ball. And object D is going to be this purple Beanie Baby penguin. It's a penguin. So a little stuffed toy. And object E, just looking around. Why don't I use my phone? We'll use my cell phone. Object E. Okay, the other thing you're going to need, which you may not have at home, but that's okay. Here's a way you could do it. I'm going to use snap cubes. And I have these at home, probably just because I'm a teacher. And I'm going to be using, the reason I'm using them is I'm going to use these snap cubes because they're all identical. They all weigh the same amount. And I'm going to try to weigh some of my objects using these snap cubes. So you could use anything at home that you have a lot of that's identical. So it could be Lego pieces. If you have the same shape Lego piece, and see how many Lego pieces it would take to balance out your scale if you were trying to do this experiment at home. Anything really. Could be hockey cards, it could be marbles, whatever you have a lot of that are the same weight. And those are the non-standard units we're going to be using to compare masses. So when we're moving on to standard units, you might weigh things in grams or kilograms. You might be used to weighing things using pounds. But today we're just comparing using other objects. So we're just comparing different things. So the first task it tells me to do is choose my object A, which is my block, and figure out how many snap cubes it would take to equal the weight. So I'm going to do that in a different video using my pan balance over there. So let's go down over here. It says, now you're going to choose 2 of your objects, and you're going to make a prediction on which one is lighter. So I'm going to choose my elephant and my Beanie Baby. This is interesting because I can hold them and you can't. So what I want you to do now is I want you to pause the video after when I say pause, and I want you to make your prediction. So are you going to say the elephant is lighter than the penguin, or are you going to say the penguin is lighter than the elephant? You can pause now and make your prediction. And explain how to check your prediction. Well, I'm going to put them in a balance. And whichever one tips the balance lower is going to be the heavier one. And then we're going to check the prediction. And I'm going to do that in a different video, and you can write down your results. And then it says here, question 3, it says it takes about 20 orange rods to balance a box of 24 colored pencils. What might balance a box of 12 colored pencils? Okay, so for this question, you don't need to actually do the measurement. You just need to be thinking to try to solve this with math. So if it takes about 20 orange rods to balance a box of 24 colored pencils, what might balance a box of 12 colored pencils? What you need to see, the key here on this one, is you need to see that we're using half the amount of colored pencils. So 12 is half of 24, right? 12 plus 12 is 24. So just having one of those 12s is half. So if we have 12 colored pencils, 12 is half of 24. So if we go look at the orange rods, if 20 orange rods balanced 24 colored pencils, and 12 is half of 24, then half of the orange rods should balance half of the colored pencils. So 10 is half of 20. And we have, to answer the question, it would take 10 orange rods to balance 12 pencil crowns. Okay. How can an object balance 20 marbles and also balance 10 marbles? That's a really interesting question. I'm going to see if you can come up with an answer. It took me a couple seconds to figure it out, but you'll have to think what might be the difference in this question. The marbles, they might not all be the same, and that's the hint I'll give you. And then number 5, it says, do you agree with Tara's statement? She says these two objects must have the same mass. So she's looking at two balls that are the same size. She thinks they must have the same mass. Do you agree with her? Yes or no, and why? And number 6, Aaron's ball balances 40 linking cubes, and Rebecca's ball balances 35 yellow pattern blocks. Do you know which ball is heavier? And explain your thinking. Well, you might be able to know which ball is heavier. You might not. 40 linking cubes and 35 yellow pattern blocks, you probably don't have those things at home. So based on the information you have, you'd have to answer this question. Number 7, why might someone want to know the mass of a backpack? So why might someone want to know how heavy a backpack is? Good question. And name another situation when someone might want to know masses. And that's it. So that's your work for today. I'm just going to go and make a few videos that might help us with some of these problems. And hopefully you have a little bit of fun and maybe do some creating today. You've got a little bit of extra time, I'd imagine. Good luck, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with.